Millions notice subtle shifts every week and chalk them up to just getting older. Jeans sit tighter even when the scale barely moves. Energy dips after lunch hit harder. Workouts feel strangely less effective. The bigger story, in many people, is a quiet slowdown in how the body uses and stores energy, often tied to loss of muscle, more visceral fat, sleep and stress patterns, and hormones that drift before labs shout. The good news: when you spot the cues early, you can respond safely, protect muscle, and nudge your burn in the right direction without extremes. I'll explain everything in plain English and lean on real research and clinical guidance. This video is educational and not a substitute for personal medical advice. 9. Your everyday strength and grip are slipping. If jar lids, carry-on bags, or stairs used to feel easy and now feel heavier, don't ignore it. Muscle is your most metabolically active tissue at rest. Think of it as your body's engine idling all day. As muscle shrinks, basal energy use can drop. According to the National Institute on Aging, age-related muscle loss, often called sarcopenia, accelerates after midlife and is linked to weakness, slower walking speed, and metabolic challenges. The signal to watch is function. Can you rise from a chair without hands, carry groceries comfortably, or hold a plank for 20 to 30 seconds? 2 to 3 brief resistance sessions weekly, push, pull, hinge, squat patterns, plus protein spread across meals may help preserve or rebuild muscle. A common mistake is doubling down on cardio while cutting calories harder, which can further erode lean tissue. If strength is slipping, treat muscle like a vital sign. 8. Your waistline is creeping even when weight barely changes. That's a clue that fat may be redistributing toward the abdomen. Harvard Health explains that central or visceral fat, fat that surrounds organs, has been linked to inflammation and poor metabolic health. It's not just aesthetics. It's a signal that insulin and cortisol patterns may be out of sync. Track waist at the navel once a month under similar conditions and watch the trend. Practical steps include building meals around fiber-rich plants, aiming toward 25 to 38 grams per day from beans, veggies, fruit, oats, and seeds, and getting a short, gentle walk after meals to help glucose move into muscle. The trap many people fall into is chasing endless Abbey exercises. Targeted core moves are fine for function, but the bigger levers are overall activity, nutrition quality, and stress and sleep. If your belt is telling a different story than the scale, your metabolism is sending a memo. 7. Post-meal energy crashes. When a plate leans heavily on refined starch and added sugar without enough protein, fiber, or healthy fats, glucose can surge and drop, leaving you yawning, snack hunting, and less likely to move. The American Diabetes Association notes that pairing carbohydrate with protein and fiber can blunt spikes and smooth energy. The pattern to notice is time. How do you feel 60 to 120 minutes after you eat? If you get heavy-eyed, irritable, or crave something sweet, try flipping the order. Protein first, plants second, starch last, and include a short, easy walk afterward. The common mistake is adding more caffeine to plow through the slump. Caffeine can mask the signal, but a steadier plate and a little movement do more to support metabolic flexibility. If meals are making you sleepy, your meal construction, more than your willpower, probably needs a tune-up. 6. You feel colder than everyone else. When the body has limited energy availability, or when thyroid function is low, heat production can dip and you may reach for sweaters others don't need. The Mayo Clinic lists cold intolerance among common features of hypothyroidism, often alongside fatigue, constipation, dry skin, and weight changes. Persistent cold sensitivity doesn't diagnose anything by itself, but if it clusters with other symptoms, it's a reasonable signal to discuss thyroid testing and iron and B12 status with your clinician. Practical steps include eating enough overall. Chronic underfueling can nudge metabolism downward, and keeping the muscle stimulus going. The mistake to avoid is assuming it's just bad circulation forever. If you're chronically chilly while your friends are comfortable, your internal thermostat may be asking for attention. 5. Digestion has slowed and constipation is creeping in. When intake drops too low for your needs, or when hormones drift, gut motility can slow. Reviews have described how severe energy restriction can alter thyroid hormones like T3, which may show up as sluggish digestion. The signal is frequency and effort, straining, hard stools, or going less than 3 times per week. Practical moves include hydrating consistently, getting a mix of soluble and insoluble fiber, and establishing a predictable meal rhythm so the gut gets a routine wake-up call. If there's blood, unexplained weight loss, or night symptoms, seek care promptly. The mistake people make is leaning on laxatives as a daily fix, which can backfire. It's more helpful to address the upstream causes: energy intake, fiber, activity, pelvic floor mechanics, and medications with constipating effects. If your gut is stuck in slow motion, your metabolism often is too. 4. Your background movement has quietly dropped. Non-exercise activity, steps, standing, fidgeting, taking the stairs, can vary by hundreds of calories per day between people. Research from James Levine and colleagues popularized the concept of NEAT, showing that small, frequent movements add up in a big way over weeks and months. The signal is an honest 7-day average of steps and sit time. Many people overestimate. Add 2,000 steps to your current baseline, spread across the day, and use microbouts, 2 minutes of marching or brisk walking every hour, to keep the system humming. The classic mistake is relying entirely on a 40-minute workout to earn a sedentary day. Your formal workout matters for fitness and mood, but your all-day movement often matters more for energy balance than you think. If your watch thinks you're a statue, your metabolism is probably acting like one. 3. Short sleep and loud snoring. Sleep is not just recovery, it's metabolic control. Studies summarized by the NIH and Harvard have linked insufficient sleep to higher hunger hormones, ghrelin, lower satiety signals, leptin, insulin resistance, and weight gain over time. Snoring with daytime sleepiness can point to sleep apnea, a condition that fragments sleep and lowers oxygen, making metabolic regulation tougher. The signal to watch is a combination of 7 to 9 hours of actual sleep opportunity, how you feel on waking, and whether your partner notices snoring or pauses. Steps you can take: anchor wake time, limit late caffeine and screens, and discuss evaluation for apnea if the clues line up. The mistake is shrugging off chronic fatigue as life is busy and chasing it with sugar and coffee. If sleep is noisy and short, metabolism pays a tax. 2. Your blood work is drifting the wrong way even before you feel sick. Fasting glucose inching up, triglycerides rising, HDL slipping, or blood pressure nudging higher can be early whispers of metabolic strain. Guidance from major organizations like the ADA and NIH emphasizes looking at trends rather than single snapshots and considering hemoglobin A1C, fasting insulin, and lipid panels in context. If your numbers are moving unfavorably year after year, that's an early chance to pivot. Bring a simple log of your meals, steps, and sleep to your appointment. It makes the conversation much more actionable. One mistake is jumping to a supplement stack without understanding the pattern. Supplements can have a place, but the big rocks, nutrition quality, muscle stimulus, sleep, and medication review, belong first. Labs are a feedback loop. Use them to guide, not to scare. 1. Weight plateaus or rebounds quickly after dieting. If you've lost weight and then regained it despite doing everything right, you are not broken. You're seeing a human survival feature. Researchers like Kevin Hall have described adaptive thermogenesis, where the body burns fewer calories than expected during and after weight loss, sometimes persisting for years. That means the old intake that maintained you may now lead to regain, especially if muscle was lost along the way. The response is not to starve harder, it's to protect lean mass and plan maintenance phases. Use a modest, sustainable calorie deficit guided by a clinician or dietitian. Prioritize resistance training and get enough protein spread evenly across meals. When you reach a milestone, hold there and practice living at that level before pushing further. The common mistake is slashing calories deeper and adding endless cardio, which can increase fatigue and hunger and shrink the very tissue that keeps your burn higher. If rebound is your pattern, your plan needs a muscle-first, maintenance-aware rewrite. How do you respond safely without the whiplash? Start by tracking SMART for 7 days: meals, steps, sleep, energy, and waste, with timestamps. You'll see patterns you can actually act on. Next, make one change today that moves the biggest levers. Add a protein-anchored meal, like Greek yogurt with berries and seeds, or eggs with beans and greens, and take a 10-minute walk after your largest meal. Finally, protect muscle with 2 brief resistance sessions this week. If you're new, body weight is enough. Combine that with a candid conversation with your clinician, using your log as your lab of daily life. Small, consistent moves, not heroics, are what shift metabolism in the real world. Before we wrap, hold these cues in your mind: everyday strength and grip, waist drift at the same weight, post-meal crashes, feeling cold, sluggish digestion, background movement slipping, short sleep or snoring, labs trending the wrong way, and rebound after diets. You're not chasing perfection, you're building a simple dashboard. Catching these signals early may translate into steadier energy and more years doing the things and being with the people you love. If this helped, comment with the one sign you'll track first, share it with someone 40+ who's frustrated by mystery weight, and subscribe for the next videos: how to estimate your resting burn safely, protein timing that protects muscle, and the labs that matter most for metabolic health. This channel is educational and does not replace individualized medical care. Talk to your healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet, exercise, or medications.